Hey, hey, how you doing? It's your host, Mr. Nice Camera Action, O'Neal Jackson. Tonight I have a special guest coming on with Dante, aka of the GS family. So y'all tune in and get this episode where we catch a vibe on From the Bottom to the Top podcast this evening. What's going on, Tay?
What's going on with you, champ?
Man, shit, good to get you on, brother.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be on here, man.
Man, I appreciate it. We got 15 minutes. We got, your time to talk about your backstory. So, could you please tell me a little bit about your backstory as a influencer and what's your mission with the GS family?
My mission, my backstory, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Uh, in and out of sports, try my best to be an influence on those around me. But at the same time, I was influenced on outside influence. Played ball all the way up to the college level, semi-pro level. But the most important takeaway from that is when growing up in Boyle Heights, Los Angeles, California, in a mainly predominantly Mexican neighborhood. So I was influenced by my uncle mainly in sports and athlete as an athlete, but then also influenced by the streets. That's just a given. I tell that story on and on, but being able to take my talents each level that I did was one of the main things that I wanted to speak on, because it was some good, some bad, some good takeaways, some bad takeaways. But as an influencer, I'm able to influence on different levels as far as entrepreneurship, starting businesses, running my own businesses, but speaking to high school and college students about my experience going from different levels, from each level, from high school to, going to college and going to play pro. There was different levels that I've taken for granted, to say the least.
Yeah.
But growing up in Los Angeles, it was a tough journey, but it was a blessing at the same time. I got scholarships and had scholarships taken away from me for outside curricular activities that I was involved in, or that I was surrounded by for the nature of where I grew up at. But as an influencer, my thing is mainly to bring together those that need, those that want, but those that don't have an outlet. So I'm trying to be the face of the influencers that they want to do something, but they just don't have the structure or the level of courage just to do it by themselves. So I started it by
Let
myself.
me let me let me say this, brother. You already are the face. I'm gonna tell you. Since I tapped in with a lot of people don't know that we talk on TikTok. You do an
Yes, sir.
awesome job, man. You do an
I
awesome
appreciate it.
job, and I respect what you're doing, brother. And that was my reason to bring you on here, because from this episode, hopefully I can gain some other people that view the show to see how to go about, they can change their life. You see what I'm saying? You can take the
Absolutely.
other road, or you can take the roads to change your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you
So,
think? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead with your question.
No, I was
What
going
do
to
I
say,
think
what
about
do you think as far as the reason why I have, I do what I do on social media? It's because it's projected differently. I project myself differently because when people call themselves influencers and they're on TikTok or they're streaming and they're not really influencing the youth or the minority culture to do or to step out and do something, I feel like
it?
being called an influencer, there's a bigger title. There's something bigger than just being on TikTok or being on Kick or being on,
Yeah.
a social media platform when you don't
Yeah.
have any substance to give back to your community. So that's why I
I
take a
agree with
different
that.
approach.
I agree with that. You really got, in my opinion, you have some genuine energy, bro. You always yourself. Let's
Yeah,
say that first
absolutely.
and foremost. And of course, you got a little, a little goofy side, because you make people laugh. But that's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's part
Yeah,
of the game.
absolutely.
But I love the energy, man. And I admire it, because I'm a me being my life coach. Yeah, I can take from that and emulate, how I can create more. See what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We all
absolutely.
learn from each other. So
Absolutely.
that's why I say, man, you already got it, bro. I'm gonna give you
I,
flowers now.
I appreciate it, and a lot of people don't fail to realize this. I started this social media or quote unquote influencer journey. I only started it 5 months ago, but
Yeah,
I've been an entrepreneur all my life. Like I've ran businesses, I've ran promotional companies, I ran security companies, I ran laundromats. I've done all this stuff before I came into the influencer stage of my journey. And the reason why I did is because it was a broader spectrum to where I can touch way more people than me being a local entrepreneur or me never
yeah,
posting what I do, because I do stuff for my community. Every year I go back and I pick one family out of the neighborhood that I grew up at, and I take them either Christmas shopping, Thanksgiving, and I give to one family. And I started that off. I started that off in 2017, 2018. I started that journey off where I would raise money, and then I try to grow every year, 1 to 2 families. And then this year we're up to 8 families as far as taking them
yeah.
Christmas shopping. And I first started off with just one family, which was the family that I took shopping was the exact same apartment that I've grown up in since I was a child, all the way until I was like 20, 21 years old. So I took that
Yeah.
family, and then it started to spread very, very quickly. So the next year I was able to take 2 or 3 families, and I continued to do that. Not to mention my mom's ran a homeless shelter for the
Yeah, you
last
told me that.
35 years. She's ran a
Shout out
homeless
to your
shelter.
mother.
So I appreciate it. Yeah, that
Yeah, shout out
she's
to
the
your mother, man.
she's the backbone of the family, and uh she instilled the give more than you receive, because when you receive, it's going to be in an abundance. And
Yeah,
that's what I've always like. I lived by that. Like, I will give, 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 give. I'm not going to let you take advantage of me, but I will give as much as possible, to the point
yeah,
where it's just like, man, that's all he does. When does he get his blessings? My blessings are kept in secret, because I'm one with God first and foremost.
yeah,
I've been blessed multiple times. I've been blessed, to be here, just to be on this podcast. I'm
yes,
glad,
sir.
because this is the first podcast I've ever been on. And I'm
Yeah,
glad that I started the structure with another individual that's doing and has the same heart as me. Is to give,
yeah,
educate, and teach. And that's been everything from day one of me growing up. I've always wanted to give, educate, because I tell people my story. Like, I didn't have a streamline to success. I didn't have a streamline to wealth. I didn't have that stuff. I grew up in poverty. I grew up in a poor neighborhood on Section 8. My
yeah.
mom, raising 7 kids in a
Mm,
in a 3-bedroom apartment. So I grew up in
that's
that.
tough.
But the giving back was always there, because my mom was always giving. She was always, she was the neighborhood. We used to call her the neighborhood babysitter. Everybody was
Okay, I
always at
got
her house. She was
you. Yeah,
always my family, my mom, my aunts, my uncle. My uncle, my mom's older brother, was my basketball coach from I was a kid till I was in high school, and he still, for free, teaches and coaches at the youth park that I grew up at.
it's
So it's
dedication right
it's
there, man. Yeah, it's
yeah, and that's what
dedication
I'm
on his
saying. Like,
part.
yeah, and he's been a leader in the community. My mom's been a leader in the community. My cousin Will's been a leader in the community. My mom, everybody that we've been able to grace presence with, we try our best uh to leave an imprint. You know what I mean? And
Now,
that's
now,
what
now,
that's
hold
what's
on. Let
been
me
my
let me
thing.
stop you right quick. Fun fact. We're gonna give him a fun. When you say Will, you talking about Mr. Will I am, ain't you, brother?
What was that?
Your cousin. When you say your cousin Will,
Yeah.
referring to the legend we were talking about. That's what's
So
up,
yeah,
man.
we're referring to Will I Am for the Black Eyed Peas. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
what's up, man.
mom's. That's my mom's oldest sister's son.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Mr. Will.
Yeah, he's been a
Yeah,
blessing upon blessings towards the family and towards the community that we grew up in. He started a nonprofit called I Am Angel, which he
yeah.
started off with, like, I think it was roughly like 500 students that he sent from Boyle Heights to a university, and now he's up to about, I think it's a little bit over 15,000 students that he sent to a robotics program so they can further on their career in
Yeah,
robotics.
that's what's up. That's sounding a good initiative too,
Yeah,
especially with the way
it's
all this
that's what I'm
going.
saying. It's been part of our family since I was born. My mom was kind of like the forefront of, giving back to the community and raising the kids in the community. And my aunt was the same. My uncle Donnie, he was the same. So they're still big pillars in the community. Like if I go back
Yeah,
to the community now, they know my family very, very well. It's never a because I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood, and back in the
yeah,
80s and 90s, that's when Hispanics and blacks were at it the most at war.
yeah,
But I
yeah. I
never
remember
seen
that.
that side of I never seen that side of it because I was raised in the middle of a Hispanic neighborhood, a predominantly
Yeah,
Hispanic neighborhood. So I was blessed to see. I speak fluent Spanish. My kids are black and Mexican, so I've
yeah.
always been, like 10 toes down in my community, and still to this day giving back to my community. My mom's going on what 40, 30, some 40 years
Yeah.
in running a homeless shelter. So she's continuously being the leader that leads my giving to
Trust.
my community.
So I mean, not to go too deep, but how many babies you got, man? I mean, that you're raising right now?
I am a proud girl father of three.
Okay,
I got a 24-year-old
okay,
old daughter. Oh, well, she will be 24 in September. I got a 12-year-old daughter, and then I got a 10-year-old daughter, and then I have a 2-year-old granddaughter.
okay. Congratulations on that. Ain't nothing like them
Appreciate
grands,
it.
man. Yeah.
Hey man, I
Uh,
I, I get a lot of strife because when my baby,
yeah,
I got to put a little extra on there because I get to give her back at the end of the day. I got to keep
yes,
mine.
sir.
But when my oldest daughter, it's a blessing being able to be a father first, but being able to be a grandfather is just like it's a whole different level of
Yeah.
excitement, which is it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. I love spending time with my family. I love spending time with my granddaughter. I love spending time just with family in general. And that's what makes it this journey even better.
So I'm gonna say this, man, because you told me you got a lot of nonprofits. For a
Yes, sir.
person like myself, I stepped out and created this podcast. First of all, I stepped out on my faith and tried this. Remember, I told you I didn't
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I was gonna say. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I ain't know, who I was gonna talk to, but God, who's the greater creator, made a way, and I can say I see it manifesting every day that I put my work and my effort into it. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
what kind of encouragement would you give somebody that's trying to start from the ground up? As
I
far as
would
like me
say
and you being
for
the
any
influence.
for anybody that has their mindset on creating either a nonprofit or just starting a business themselves, the best way to go about it is just to start. I think it's about 95% of small businesses fail within the first 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I've had businesses, I've ran businesses that did great and then completely fell flat. My
Mhm.
thing is you have to, what I tell any entrepreneur that's starting, you have to work that company because people get beside themselves. Oh, I own a company now, and they feel
Yeah.
like because I'm the owner, I don't have to work as hard. For the
It's
first
a
two to
lot.
three years, I work my company. I work my right now. I work still 7 days a week on my delivery company. And the reason why is because within the first 2 to 3 years, if it is not stable and on strong grounds, it can fail at any time. So I
Yeah.
tell people to work your business, whether it's an LLC or a S corp or a DBA. Work that business as if it was your 9 to 5 job for the first 2 to 3 years, and then live off of it the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Once it's actually sat on good grounds, and okay, I've worked this business, I worked my company for the last past 2 to 3 years, and I know that it's set on good foundation. Now I can say, okay, well, I can hire this person to do this person to do this. That at the beginning, you have to be all people. I'm not saying it's not good
I
to bring
agree.
anybody on. I'm not saying it's not good to bring anybody on, but you have to be the person that goes on there and does everything from top to bottom so that you know that everything's ran smoothly. So when you do step back, you know exactly each pillar of your business, you know how to run yourself.
You're right. Hey,
And
bro,
that's
and
the
I'm
one
gonna say I
thing.
agree with you. I
Yeah.
agree with you because really doing this multimedia venture that I'm on, I do everything, man, from editing
You have
to
to.
having to get out there in the street sometime. I mean, hey, and I ain't gonna lie, some days I get tired, Tay. I'll be
I
honest with you,
know.
some days I
Yeah.
get tired. And I think when I first met you, I did my last episode with a guy out of Maine or Massachusetts. Bro, when I came back to Texas, I took me a 3 month break. I didn't want to do nothing. I just wanted to rest my body, bro. Because I was just
Yeah.
so tired of being up all night trying to research and trying to reach out to people. So you are totally right about when you run the business. It's gonna work you. It's gonna make you, you're
Yeah.
gonna run lap.
And that's the main part of being a creator, being an entrepreneur, being an innovator is it's made to either break you or build you.
It's
And
correct.
whichever one you take, if it breaks you, then it wasn't meant for you. But
You're right.
if it builds you, then you run with it. A lot of people go and they'll go so far as, doing everything to the T, but then they run
Mm-hmm.
out of gas. And once they run out of
Mm-hmm.
gas, it's just like, man, like I don't have nobody else's help. Well, the first three
Yeah,
years, you shouldn't depend on nobody. The first 2 to 3 years, I would
correct.
say the first, like until that third year hits, because majority of a business, when you invest in a business and start a business, that first 2 to 3 years, you're making money, but you're not making a large amount of money. What you're doing is you're
Yeah,
returning your investment for that first 2 years. So everything is bills getting paid, everything is loans getting paid down, everything is all that. It's money getting returned for you for what you've earned, well, which from what you earned to what you guys have to pay back. Once you pay that off,
yeah,
then is when you take your. And most time loans you'll get them for you get a loan for 12 to 18 months. So if you get that loan for 12 to 18 months, if you think theoretically 12 to 18 months, I'm about to work this business as it is my 9 to 5, so I can pay this loan off, get this loan paid. Once I pay this loan off, then because once you pay that loan off, guess what? Them
yeah.
loan amounts they only get bigger.
You so right,
So
brother. You kicking some real.
now you can take that second loan out, step back from the business, and through that loan you can pay somebody to do what you're doing right now.
Yes, sir.
And then
You
you
are
just and
correct.
then you I'm telling you, get your credit up. Go don't
You
look,
kicking some
go get
real
it.
game, man.
Go get you an
Yeah.
LLC. And I'm gonna put people on game. Go get you an LLC. And if you don't know what to get an LLC in, get an LLC. This is two things you can do then. Do an LLC or do an S corp. Get the
Yeah.
LLC in whatever your first name and last name is, LLC. Why? Because
Mm,
if you like when you have an LLC, it protects the brand. So nobody can come directly after you. They can come after the
that's right.
company, but they can't come after you. So you're protected under an umbrella. Now, if you DBA, if you S corp or you LLC, your name, whatever income you make, whether it's personal income or not. Remember, if you have an LLC in your personal name, you can put money into your LLC, even if it's a personal check. So that's what
Well, I got
helps you
another.
protect you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got
That's what
another
helps you
question for you.
protect your money.
What about if you put your business in a trust and call it a ministry? Have you ever heard of that?
You can put your business in a trust. I've looked into it, but you have to find one with a high yielding return.
Okay.
Because whatever type of money you get, if you put yours in a trust, you just have to make sure that it's more than 9.5 on a return. If it's more than
Ah,
9.5, you can let that everything that comes in. First of all, you're gonna be protected by your S corp or your LLC. If you put that money in that trust, it's gonna be yielding 9.5 or better per year. So
hmm,
whatever you make, as long as it sits for that full calendar year, you're gonna be getting a return on it. And you want to, if you can let that
okay.
sit, that's what I'm saying. And you execute everything that you do around the business. You execute off the principle of the return. You never touch the money that you put in there. So you everything that all that 9.5 of whatever you get, because you get that, you can get that monthly. You can get
Okay.
you can get your monthly your month, you can get it monthly instead of getting annually, and you can live
Yeah.
off the principle of your investment into that high yielding
Interest.
um, interest. You live off the interest, and the principal continues to grow. The principal, what you
Okay.
put in,
Okay.
if I put $20,000 in an account, and it has high yielding, it's a high yielding 9.5 or better. Like, go for something crazy. And if you sit there and you just live off the interest, the principal that you put in that 20,000 is going to continue to gain interest. And every time you pull from it, whatever you're making, I make 10,000 a month. Cool. I'm going to put 5,000 away. I'm going to use the interest to continue to build and run my business. And then I'm going to continue to
Yeah.
put away. So the principal continues to grow. Your interest continues to grow. But the one thing that you're not doing is you're not suffering, because you're living off your interest.
I like that.
And
Hey, Tay.
people fail to realize, like, yo, these banks are, and I'm telling you guys by figuring it out. These banks are out here with so much money to give away, but they're not gonna, just like a Bentley, just like what is it, a Rolls Royce. You know how they don't have commercials?
Yeah.
You know how Rolls Royce ain't got no commercial, Ferrari ain't
Yeah,
got
I
no
noticed that.
commercial. Yeah, they don't need to, because it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
Banks that, if you don't find somebody that has the word of mouth to tell you that, hey, this bank is giving out loans right now to minority startups, you're not going to know about it. So if you go into these banks, go to your nearest bank right now. There's some banks that do DBAs. They do small business owned. So if you have an S corp, they won't give you a loan. But if you DBA, which is doing business as, they'll give you a small loan
Yeah.
from $5,000 to $10,000. And these are banks that are just like sitting there waiting for people to come in. They're waiting for people to come in, but they're not going to advertise it, because they don't want to put that money forward. But if you come in there and
Yeah.
ask them, they'll be like, oh yeah, we do have a small business loan for startups.
I'm glad you
But
told me that, because I didn't even know about
us,
them.
yeah, us as minorities definitely don't know it. But if you go in any other community, look at all these companies. Look at how many people come to America and start businesses within the first year.
Yeah, you're right. I noticed that.
And that's because
They got good credit
they
too. They got their credit too.
yeah, and they're doing the bit. And if you don't got credit, go get you a EIN and a DUNS number. If you don't know what that is,
Okay.
it's a free social security for a business.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah,
Start you a
yeah,
business. Yeah, start you a business. Get you an EIN. Go get you a DUNS number. Start you some credit. Start you some credit under. You can go to any one of these companies. You can go to Lowe's. You can go to Home Depot, and they will give you a business line of credit. And then you go get some, go build something, go buy something from Lowe's, go buy something from Home Depot, go to Uline. These are companies that will give you business loans, and they're small business loans, but as long as you utilize their credit and pay them back, they will continuously grow your income. I mean, grow your loan amount, your credit amount. And then once you have them in, that's what I tell people. Once you have them in that chokehold, where it's like, yeah, he's paying his loans off, he's paying his loans off, he's paying his credit cards off, and then they give you that $20,000, $15,000. I got $100,000 credit card that I didn't need,
yeah.
but because I
See this.
utilize my credit, you can utilize it the same way. Go in there, grab you something from one of these businesses that gives out business credit. Utilize their
Hold on. Let
people.
me say this. You need to be a business coach, bro. You got it down pat, man.
I'm telling.
Yeah.
I got so many gems that are just in the pocket, and it comes from me doing
Yeah.
research, me talking to financial advisors and talking to financial coaches, because I'll be honest with you, the one thing about minorities is we don't like to read,
Yeah.
and that's where all the secrets are at. All the
In
gems are
them
in these
books.
books all these gyms. What's that saying, Mom? What's that saying? If you want to hide the truth from an idiot, put it in a book.
Yeah.
Because then we ain't gonna read. We're not gonna do the research. And then they even made it even easier for us to educate ourselves and learn because they put it on the internet. 90% of America is on the internet. So everything that we need to learn, to educate ourselves, to build. If you want to be a contractor, you want to be an attorney, you want to be a teacher, you can do all this stuff from the internet now.
Totally agree. So before we go move forward, tell me a little about the GS brand, the Godsend brand, your fashion line.
The GS brand, nickname GS the Kid. That's been my nickname for a cool minute. Came up with it. OG came up with it, and he was just like, "Man, you Godsend." Yeah. So they used to call me Godsend the Kid. So that's where the GS the Kids came from. I started a brand, clothing brand, with the John 3:16 verse. Printed on it, and I used to do it for just my wear, like, you know, and everybody would tell me like, "Yo, that hoodie's dope." So I started the GSF, and then on the sleeve of it, it says John 3:16. So God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten son. That's where I got it from, because they called me GS the Kid, like God sent the kid. So I started that, and then I started the GSF brand when I got to social media, which, because it wasn't solely about me anymore. It was about a community that I was building, a family that I was building. So that's where God sent the family to be a light amongst the dark.
Understood. So where can they find these this fashion lines they want to order some of your gear?
I'm actually gonna put it on my website, but I'm building a website right now, but I'm actually gonna put it on the TikTok shop as well. But if you DM me on my any of my socials, which is GS the Kid _ TKECEO, or if you hit me on TikTok, which is GS.THE.KIDD, if you DM me, I can ship them out directly. So I have like
sounds shirts, good.
I have hoodie shirts, and I have sweats and like joggers.
Okay. So look here, we're gonna get ready to get up out of here, man. But guess what? Y'all make sure y'all go on TikTok and check out Tay, man. I'm telling you, live. If you're trying to run them numbers up in that run-up room, he's the man with the plan. Hey, it's always a pleasant moment when you're in his room. Say, I'm your host. I'm your coach, Coach O'Neal with a real, and this is my guest, Dante. Peace. We out.
I appreciate you, King. Have a blessing.
You too, brother.